Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So the week 9 covers the awake scripting. So awake is one of the programming language, like shell scripting language it is. So this language is used for processing the fields and records. So generally we process a file which contains, so that file will be treated, each line of that file is treated as a record. In each line, it can be a space separated words or something, so those are considered as a fields. Okay, so by default it will process a file which contains some lines of text. Each line might be having some field separator. So always the /n is the considered as a record separator. Okay, whereas a space is a field separator by default. By default it will consider, so whenever a line completes, at the end we will have a /n. /n means it will go to the next line. Okay, so /n is considered as a record separator. So that means each line of your file is a record. Each line of your file is considered as a record. And space is used as a field separator. Say suppose in a line we might be having any number of words, so each word is called treated as one field. Okay, so between each word we'll have a space separator, so the words are considered as the fields. Words are considered as fields. So the splitting of the records and fields is done automatically by your awake script. It will automatically split the these are the records, each line considered as a record, and each field it will consider like a, sorry, each word it will consider like a field. So that splitting of records and fields will be done automatically. Okay, so in general we will have a so we can run the awake from a command prompt, command line, like your sed scripts. You can run your awake script also like a command from command prompt, like a command. Okay, or you can write it into a file, and into a scripting file which will have an extension of .awk. So awake scripts will have an extension of .awk, and you can run it from the command prompt. Okay, so most probably we use this form, and even I will demonstrate one example how to run it from the prompt command line also. Okay, so it will run like this. So this is the input file. This is the input file. So on that file, this awake script is running. Always for an awake script, we need to pass an input file. Okay, so that input can be in the form of a file, or even you can pass the input like a command line, from a command line by using a pipeline symbol. Okay, and awake script will have different blocks, different sections, like a begin block, default block, and an end block. Okay, it will have a 3 blocks especially. So it will have a begin block, end block, and a default block. So begin block, it will begin block get executed in the beginning, before it read the contents of the file. So we'll pass the file as an input, I said, no. So before reading the contents of the file, whatever you have written in the begin block, that gets executed. And the end block, after reading the contents of the file, once the reading the contents of the file is over, at the end it will execute the end block. whereas the default block is executed once for each line of your file. It will execute once for each line of your file. Suppose if your file contains 3 lines, the default block gets executed 3 times. If it contains 5 lines, it gets executed 5 times. Okay. So those are the main building blocks, like begin block, end block, and a default block. Okay. I'll show you an example. So I will take one each example and then show you how the awake script will be, the default awake script will be. Okay. Say, let us consider so let us consider so this is your awake script. So if you check the shebang for this, so user bin, the command that it is going to execute the awake script is a gawake. Okay, gawake. And I said you can run it like a command from the command prompt, like a command. Okay, so in that case we use -f option, or you can run it like a shell script. Okay, so gawake with the -f option we use to run your awake script. So this is the shebang. Like so when you are running an awake script, what is the executable that it will run in the background is this. This is the executable that will run. Okay, and so you can write a begin block and an end block. So let me first write a simple block. So let us, this is the begin block and this is the default block and this is the end block. Okay, so these are the simple. So this is the begin block. Begin between the curly brackets, you will write the awake commands, script commands. So the print statement will work here to display the output on your screen. So print. So just we are printing begin action process. It's a simple message. You are printing a simple message that we are inside the begin block. Okay, and without specifying anything, if you put a curly brackets, open and closed curly bracket, that indicates the default block. This is the default block. Okay, so if you write without anything, open and closed curly brackets without any label like this. Okay, so that indicates the default block. Okay, so and end block will have this label end, and then within the curly brackets we'll write all the statements that you want to process in the end block. So that indicate the end. So just we, in all the blocks we have written a simple message. So this is the begin action, default action, and end action. Okay, so so when the begin block gets executed, before reading the file, so while running this script we will pass input as one file. So before reading that file, this begin block gets executed once. Okay, and then after that the default block gets executed. The default block executes how many lines you have in your input file, those many number of times, by taking each line as an input. With that input it will run this default block. Okay, like your for statement. So for the loop variable, it will take the first value, So you'll have a list of values. So it will take the first value. With that first value, it will execute the body of the loop. Then with the second value, it will execute the, so then it will take the third value and execute the block. So same way, the awake script, the default block get executed for each line of text in your file, input file. And then once the processing of your file is over, then it will execute the end block. So let us run this simple script. Okay, so for running, we need to give an input file. No? So I am taking this as an input file, example1 dot. So this file, example1 dot input, this is a file I am passing to process for this awake script. So this file contains 4 lines. In each line, say this particular line contains how many words? Line 1 space word 1a, word 1b, one word 1, like that. So how many fields are there in this line? 4 fields. This line contains 4 fields. Again, this line is also contain 4 fields. This line is also contains 4 fields. Whereas this line contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, 6 fields. Therefore, line 4 contains 6 fields. Okay. So like that, this line is considered as one record. So this total, this file contains 4 records, and the first 3 lines contains 4 fields, whereas the 4th line contains 6 fields. Okay, that is the interpretation that we need to use here. Okay, so on this input file, I am passing to this awake script. Okay, so to execute an awake script, this is the command, like how you execute your shell script, dot slash your shell script name dot sh. So because awake script will have a dot awk as a, so dot slash your awake script, and then this is your input file. Okay, hello, am I audible, ma? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So our awake script name is example1 dot awk. So dot slash example1 dot awk space, the input file that we are giving to this is example1 dot input. Okay, this is our input file. So it doesn't mean that your input file should have an extension of dot input. Just for our understanding, we have taken like that. So this is a text file. This can be any text file. Okay, so this can be any file. It can be a PDF or a text file or whatever it may be. So this is your input file. So this is your awake script. So when you run this, so the begin block gets executed first. Begin action is processed. After that, the default block get executed for 4 times because your input file contains 4 lines, 4 records. So for each record, it will get executed for once. And then at the end of processing your input file, end block gets executed, end action is processed. Now we'll modify our input file and add one more line. Yes.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
in the previous example, ma'am,
Yeah.
The begin, there are 2 begin blocks, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. I'll show you. I'll show you that. Okay. So let me add one more line to this. Just I have added a simple line. So now if you run the same file, see here, the default block get executed 5 times because there are 5 lines in your input file. Okay, so whereas you can have any number of begin blocks, any number of end blocks, any number of default blocks also. Okay, so not a single begin block, not a single end block, not a single default block. So you can have any number of begin blocks, any number of end blocks, and any number of default blocks also. So in that case, how it gets executed is, say, let us modify our example. Sorry. So here I am modifying my example and I am including one more begin block and one more end block. And one more thing is, these begin and end blocks can be anywhere. It should not say that begin block must be in the beginning and end block must be in the ending. So there is no rule like that. So you can have any number of begin blocks, and that begin block can be anywhere in the program. Okay, so one more begin block I am writing here at the end. Okay, begin. So inside this I am writing print, this is second begin block. Some simple message only I am writing. So I have closed this, and I am also including one more end block, so that even the end blocks can also be written anywhere in your program. Okay, so I am writing in the beginning the end block, one more end block I am writing it in the beginning. Print second end block. Okay, so I've written two begin blocks, one is this, another is this, and two end blocks. So how it gets executed is the same manner. Begin blocks gets executed in the before reading the contents of the file, and end blocks will be executed after processing the file contents, all the records of your file. But in which order? Suppose if you have a more than one begin block and more than one end block, in which order they will execute the begin blocks and end blocks is in the order in which you have written in the program. Okay, so the begin blocks gets executed as, first it will execute this begin block and then this begin block. Okay, so the order is in which order you have written in your which begin block you have written first, that gets executed first. Okay, so next. So this first it will print begin action is processed. After that it will print this is the second begin block. This is the second begin block. And same way, so after that it will execute the default block as many number of times as you have in your records in your file. And the end blocks will also be in the same order, in which order we have indicated. So this is the first end block we have defined. So first it will print second end block. After that it will process this end block in the order in which we have defined in your code. In that order only it will execute. So while in the end block, first we will get this gets printed first, and then this gets printed next. So let us execute the same script. Okay, see here. Begin action processed first begin block, and this is the second begin block. So both the begin blocks it has executed before start processing your file. And after that, because there are 5 lines in your input file, so 5 times default block gets executed. Once the file is processed, now the end blocks, see this is the first end block we have written, so that's why it has displayed this message first and then this message next. Okay, in which order we write while writing the code, in the same order it will execute. You can have any number of begin and end blocks. So see here. So begin block, it will execute once before the files are read. And end block, it will execute once after the files are read. And both can appear anywhere in the script, can appear multiple times, can contain not only the message here, in both the begin blocks that we have written, begin or end block, just we have written a message. Not only message, it can even have some processing codes also. In the beginning and ending blocks also, we can have a processing codes. Something like, suppose if you are executing with your files, you are working with your files. Generally, how we will work in with the files in computer, first we will open that file for the given purpose, and then we will read each record of that file and process it. So at the end we will close the file. So that opening of the file, you can write it in the begin block. Processing statements, you can write it in the default block, and closing the file statements, you can write it in the end block. So even end block can end and begin blocks can have some codes. Okay, like necessary initializations that you required to write your program, that we will write it in the begin block. And the summary, like suppose you want to find out the total marks of the class, or the sum of the salaries of all the employees. So like that, some summary code, grouping value, suppose you want to find out, that grouping generally we do it in the end block. Summary reports, we will print it in the end block, and initializations generally we will write it in the begin block. And only the processing code that will run on each record, we will write it in the default block. Okay, so while writing the default blocks, I said any number of default blocks you can have. So every default block will have some pattern. This is called a pattern block. Suppose if you have a open and closed curly brace without any pattern here, so that is called default block. Whereas you can have a pattern blocks also. So here you will have one regular expression pattern or something like that. Okay, one condition, a pattern, you can consider it like one condition. Okay, so after that you will have a code, you will have the block. So this block gets executed if your input line satisfies this pattern. Suppose you have written one regular expression here. Okay, if your readed input satisfies this regular expression, then this code gets executed. Otherwise it won't execute this block. Okay, so patterns, while writing the patterns, you can use all your operators, relational, arithmetic, and logical operators, and or. So like everything, like how you write a condition in your C programming, other programming languages. So while writing the condition, what type of expressions we use. So all those things you can write it in the pattern. Okay, so so this block gets executed if execute each record pattern evaluates to true. Like it will execute if your input record evaluates to this pattern. That means if it matches with this particular pattern, then this commands this gets executed. Otherwise it won't execute the pattern block. Okay, so whereas a default block, this is without any pattern. That means it will execute for all the records. Okay, and even you can have multiple such a default blocks. So even you can have multiple pattern blocks. Okay, so we will see one example for these pattern blocks. So we have just seen how the begin block will be and how the end block will be, how the default block will be. Now we will see one example how the pattern block will be. Okay, so before going to this, we will discuss. So we can use some built-in variables like how many records are there, how many fields are there in each record. So for that, we need not calculate manually. So you will have some default variables, built-in variables, which will find out them. Like your environment variables, there are some built-in variables which will find out how many records are there in your file, how many fields are there in the current line. So like that. So the built-in variables we use it here is, first one is argc. Argc means how many arguments are there, number of arguments supplied to your command line. Okay. Whereas argv is those arguments. Suppose while running the script, while you're running the awake script, suppose if you pass some arguments, so how many arguments you have passed will be stored in argc variable. And what are those arguments? They will be stored like an array, associative array. Okay. So those arguments are stored in the array argv. Okay. And environ is an associative array of environment variables. Like what are the different environment variables we have? Like path. Okay. Pwd, path, file name. So like that, there are some environment variables are there now. So what are the different environment variables supported by your awake? They will be stored in a associative array environ. Okay. And the file name indicate the name of the current file that you are processing. Say for example here, if you print a file name inside here, suppose if you print a file name variable, so the input file which we gave to this will be the name of the file that it is processing. Say in the previous case, example1.input, it will print that as a file name. So which file it is being processed, which text file that it is processing, that file name it will display. FNR means current record number of the current record, whether it is the first record, second record, third record. So like that, it will display the which record. Suppose if your file contains 5 records, so now it is processing which particular record, that you can get it that using FNR variable. FNR will give you the number of the current record relative to the
Ma'am, what
current file.
is minus F?
Here like when you are passing some command line arguments to your shell script, so minus f is like the script, awake script that you are running. While running your awake script, how you are running dot slash the script name dot awake. Suppose you are running this like a command line, command, this whole thing, suppose you are running like a command in the command prompt, there we use minus f option. See here, we use this command g awake minus f. So you are running this as a command. You are running the awake script like a command from the command line. So in that case, this argc argv will not run, because if you are running like a script, you may pass arguments to that script. Okay. Whereas when you are running like a command, it won't Suppose if you are running like a script, you can pass arguments to the script. Okay, but when you are running like using these options -f -v options, so that will run like a command. So you won't pass the arguments to the command, you will pass the arguments to your script file. Okay, so except with those cases you can use this argc. Well, when you are passing the arguments to your script using command line, in that case it will work. So that is the meaning of this. So FNR is the current record number. FS is the field separator. So like while reading the file, each line of the file, suppose if you are storing the student information in a file, say roll number, name of the student, CGPA. So these values generally you can, by default they will be separated by a space. Each student record can have a roll number, name of the student and a CGPA. So these values, roll number, name and CGPA values can be separated by a space, or they can be separated by comma, or they can be separated by a colon. So like that you can use your own field separator. So which field separator we are using? Suppose you want to change the field separator value from default space to some other value. So you can use this field separator field, FS, field separator. And then NF, number of fields in the current record. Say suppose in the previous file, so the line 1, the record 1 contains 4 fields. So like that, you need not count it manually. You can use this variable, NF variable, that will give you how many records are there, how many fields are there in the current record. So when NR is the number of a current record, so FNR and NR both same relative to a one particular file. And you can use even formatting for numbers there, while which formatting that you want to use for, like suppose you are representing 10 lakhs 25,535. So generally how we use the formatting for numbers, say after lakhs we will put comma, after thousands we will put comma. So like that formatting you can use it for numbers. By specifying using this particular field, output format for numbers. Okay, so we will see, we will use these bulletin variables. Even there are some other output. OFS means output field separator, output record separator. By default record separator is a /n. Okay, so while suppose the difference between the record separator and output record separator, field separator and output field separator is, so field separator means the input. When you are giving, it is reading the input, what is the separator? Suppose it is displaying the output to us. Suppose it has to display all the entire record or the processed record. So while displaying, it needs to print the different fields using one separator. So that is output field separator. OFS value, by default both are space only. Suppose if you change the output field separator, with that changed value it will display the output. Okay, but field separator is the input field separator, OFS is the output field separator. Same way, RS is the record separator, default record separator is /n, whereas while displaying each record, what separator you want to use, that you can specify using ORS, output record separator. So while processing the strings, we use this. So like we will, when we are using that example, I'll explain this. And $0 is nothing but the it will display the entire line, entire record that it has read. So I said it will read one by one line from the file. With that, it will process the default block. So the readed record, it will store it in $0. $0, if you display $0, it will print the entire line that it is processing now, entire record that it is processing. And even you can say $1, $2, $3 like that. So that $1, $2, $3 indicate the fields of the current record. Say for example, if it is processing say for example, we have a this input file. Say for example, this is your input file. So suppose it is processing this particular line. So first line. So when it is processing, $0 means it will display this entire line. So $1 means first field, that is line 1. It will display line 1. Suppose $3. $3 means $1, $2, $3 means it will display word 1B. Suppose if I say $2, it will display word 1A. So these are represent, each field of the current line are represented using $1, $2, $3, $4. So this line is having 4 words. So $1 is line 1, $2 is 1A, $3 is 1B, again $4 is also 1B. So in this $6, while reading this line, $6 means scripting. While reading this line, $2 means hello. So like that, $n indicate the which field, nth field of the current record. It will indicate the nth field of the current. N value can be 1 to the number of FNR value, 1 to FNR. Okay. So we'll see the example for these, how to use these built-in variables in our AVIC script.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you explain once again record separator?
Yeah. We'll have the example now. I will explain all the whatever manually I have explained now. For all these, we will see the example now. So then you'll understand it clear. Okay. So in the begin block, just we have displayed a message in the default block. So I am displaying the record number, record colon, and what is the current record? $0 means I said it will display the entire line, entire record. So this is our record that it is processing. Okay. And processing, what is the record number? So whether it is processing the first record or the second record or the third record, so that you can get it using FNR. Okay, record number. So processing record number is this FNR value we have displayed. And the number of fields in the current record. Suppose if it is reading the first record, how many fields are there in the first record? That you can get it using NF. NF is the variable that gives the number of fields in the current record. So we are just displaying the entire line which is going to be processed, and what is the which line number, that which line you are processing, that is FNR. In that line, how many fields are there? That is NF. Okay. So let us execute this. So to execute this, I am taking this input file. Okay. Example 2.input file I am taking. So this contains three lines, where the first line contains 4 words, second line contains 3 words, third line contains 2 words, or words means fields. So there are 3 records. First record contain 4 fields, second record contain 3 fields, third record contain 2 fields. In that way it will process. Okay. So let us execute this. Okay, so first begin block gets executed. After that, default block in the first time, because it is having 3 lines, so default block gets executed 3 times. When it execute the first time, so this is the output. Record the entire line it has displayed, this entire line it has displayed, and the record number is 1. Number of fields, how many fields are there in the first line, first record? 4. Number of fields in the current record is 4. So again, when it reads the second line, these 3 lines will be the output of your default block. So the record is this record, it is processing now line 2, and record number is 2, and the number of fields in the current record is 3 fields. So again, when it is reading the third line, third record, so record is this, processing record number is 3, and the number of fields in the current record is 2. So there are 3 lines in your input file. So the default block gets executed 3 times. Each time it is displaying the record number, the entire record and record number, and how many fields are there in the current record. After completion of reading the input file, so processing the file, so it will execute the default block. End block. After completion of processing the input file, it will execute the end block. Okay, so those are these fields: FNR field, okay, NF number of fields, record number. Even FNR or NR will give you the same with respect to the given file. So now we'll see another example with another environment variable, like other built-in variables. So here we have introduced a pattern block. Okay, so this is one pattern block, and this is another pattern block, and this is another pattern block. Okay, so we have a begin block and 3 pattern blocks and an end block. So this pattern is specified using a regular expression. This pattern is specified using a regular expression. Even you can write the pattern using your environment built-in variables and your logic operators, arithmetic or logical operators also, you can write the pattern. So here we have used the pattern. To write the pattern, regular expression is used. That means if the readed record contains alphabets, then it will process this block. This block gets executed. If your readed line record contains all num means alphanumeric, alphabets or numbers or both. All num means it can contain alphabets or numbers or both numbers and alphabets. So in that case, this block gets executed. Okay, so if your current record contains digits, only numbers, then this particular block gets executed. Okay, even for the current line, current input line, there might be more than one block gets executed. Say suppose in the first line you have alphabets as well as digits. So in that case, this block get executed because it contains alphabets. This block also gets executed because it contains alphabets and numbers. Whereas it won't execute this block. Even this block gets executed because it contains digits. Okay, so all the blocks gets executed if a line contains alphabets and digits. Suppose if the line, yeah,
ma'am, this FNR
is a record number of current record. Even we have seen in the previous example, record number Okay, FNR is the record number, which record it is processing. Okay. And here, suppose if your line contains only alphabets, so then it will execute this block as well as this block also, because alnum means alphabets also. So these two blocks gets executed, whereas this block will not execute, third block. Okay. Whereas suppose if your line contains only digits, so in that case, this first block will not execute because the condition here is alpha. So whereas this gets executed, alnum means it contains numbers, no? So it will, this block get executed as well as this block get executed. Okay. So like that, based on the record which contains whether it contains alphabet or alphanumeric or only digits, based on that, that corresponding pattern blocks gets executed. The blocks which matches with the pattern gets executed. Okay.
It will automatically detect.
Yeah, it will automatically detect. And FNR is the field record number, and $0 means the entire line, it will, the entire record it will display. And this is the number of fields. NF is the number of fields. In each record, in this particular record, how many fields are there, that it will display, NF. Okay, so we will execute this with the example. The example file I am giving here is example3.input, so which contains this. So this is the input I am giving to the file while executing this ABIC script. So first line, it contains only alphabets, it doesn't contain any digits, whereas the second and third lines contains both alphabets and digits, and fourth line contains only digits. Okay, so this input file I am giving to execute example3.abic. See here, so begin block gets executed. After that, for the first line, so these are the outputs. These lines are the output, because this line contains alphabets, so it will display this alpha record number is 1, and what is that record? Hello world, welcome to awake. So that is the record, because $0 value we have displayed there. So let me so this is the line that we have written, print alpha record colon FNR number, record number is 1, and what is that record? Alpha record, alpha block. So this alpha record, alnum record, digit record, these are which pattern block get executed. To identify that, we have written that this is alpha block gets executed, alpha pattern block gets executed, and record number is 1, and this is the record, and this contain how many fields? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields, because default separator is the space here. So there are 5 words, so 5 fields are there. So the number of fields in the current record is 5, and it will also satisfy alnum record also, alnum block also it will satisfy, because it contains alphabets. So again, record number is 1, this is the record, and it contains 5 fields. So for the first line, this is the output. This 4 lines is the output for the first line. So whereas for the second line, what is the second line? Second line contains both alphabets and digits. So all the 3 patterns will match. Alpha pattern will match, alnum pattern will match, digit pattern will also match. So these are the 6 lines. of output for the second record. So all record, so this is the second line, and how many fields it contains? 3 fields. Same. All num also same. Digit record also same. Okay, so that means the second line is matching all the pattern blocks, all the 3 pattern blocks. Whereas the third, fourth, yeah.
Ma'am, this 1, 2, 2, 3, what is, how it is?
Record number. So this is the first record. This is the second record. This is the third record. This is the fourth record. With respect to the current file, first line is the first record. Second line is the second record. So like that. Okay, this one is the first record number. We have displayed the FNR value there. FNR value. FNR means it will display the record number with respect to the current file. So while reading the first line, while processing the first line, FNR value will be 1. While processing the second line, FNR value will be 2. Third line 3, fourth line 4, like that.
And ma'am, all num and alpha are giving same answers.
Yeah, because we have written the code like that. See, the same. This is alpha. Here only this heading we have changed. Alpha record. Here all num record. Here digit record. The remaining everything we have written the same code. Remaining everything we have written the same code. That's why it is like this. When it executes this block, only difference you are getting is this word. If it is executing alpha block, alpha pattern block, you will have alpha. When it is executing all num block, you will have all num. When it is executing digit block, it will have a digit record. The remaining everything we have written the same here code. So that's why it is displaying the same.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But confusion is that alpha is alphabetical numbers, alphabets, na?
Yeah.
And all num it will detect numbers and
As well
alphabet,
as
right?
yes, both alphabets as well as digits. It will match. Suppose if your line contains alphabet, all num will also match. If your line contains at least 1 digit, all num will match.
But
All
in
num
the
will,
first field, all num is also running because there is no number even though.
like all num means if it contains either alphabet or digit or both. The meaning of all num is if it will match if it contain alphabet or if it contain digit or it contains both alphabet or digit. That or conditional, that is not and condition. All num class will match if your input contains alphabet or digit or both alphabet and digit. Okay, so because the first line contains alphabet, so the alpha block will match as well as all num block will also match. All num match because it contains alphabet. Okay, whereas for the second line also all the 3 matched because it contains alphabet, so alpha block matched. It contains alphabet as well as digit, so all num block matched. It contains digit, so digit block matched. Have you got it?
Similarly, alpha record is also there.
Yeah, alpha record is also there because this line contains, second line contains alphabets. At least one alphabet is there, then alpha block will match. All num will also match. Okay, whereas if there is no alphabet at all, then only alpha block will not match. If there is no alphabet at all in your current input record, in that case only alpha block will not match. If it contains at least one alphabet, it will match. Okay. So because here alphabets are there, alpha block is matched. Even it contains alphabets, so all num will also match. Whereas it won't match with a digit because if there is even at least one digit is also not there. No digit is there. So it won't match the digit block. If it contains at least one digit, say suppose hello world, after that I have written one digit, then even digit block will match. If your input contains at least one digit, digit block will match. If your input contains at least one alphabet, then alpha block will match. Anyhow, all num block will match for everything. Everything means like if it contains alphabet or digit or both. Suppose if your line contains control characters, in that case only it won't match. The remaining everything it will match. Okay. So whereas see for the last one, for the last line contains only digits. So fourth line. Wait. See here. Only these are the outputs. 4 lines. Alpha block doesn't match with this record. Okay, only all num and digit records were matched. All num and digit for the last line. Whereas for the third and fourth, all the 3. For the first, only first 2. Alphabet and all num. Have you got it?
Yes, ma'am. But alpha num is not getting into the last record.
Yeah, all num is there. This is the last record, fourth record. This is the output of the fourth record. All num. So record number 4, and this is your record. And it contains 2 fields. Digit. This is your record. It contains 2 fields. Alpha will not match because there is no alphabet in that line. Okay. Now we'll see another example. So in the previous example, we have matched the entire line. We have matched the entire record with your pattern. Okay. Suppose I don't want to match the entire record. I want to match only a particular field. Okay. So here I am matching the first field. $1 means first field. $2 is second field. $3 is third field, like that. So I am matching only the first field. If the first field, this symbol, tilde symbol, indicate matching with the regular expression. When you are matching something with your regular, suppose if you have some value here, we use equal to. Okay. So, but here what we have written is the regular expression. So if it is a regular expression, when you are comparing a field value with a regular expression, we use matching, whether this match with this regular expression or not. So when you are using the term matching, we use this tilde symbol. So if your first field matches with this regular expression, then this block gets executed. That means if your first field contains alphabets, then this block gets executed. If your first field is an alphanumeric, then this block gets executed. If your first field is a digit, then this block gets executed. So here the difference between the previous example and this example is, in the previous example, we have considered the entire record. So if in the entire record, if you have an alphabet, alpha block, alnum block, digit block. Whereas here we are checking only the first field. If first field contains alphabet, like that. Okay. So that is only difference between this and the previous example. So we are record number we are displaying, and what is the first field only we are displaying. First field value only we are displaying. Previously we have displayed the entire record. So here now we are displaying only the first field. Yeah, any doubt? So let us execute this. So to execute this, I am taking this as my input, same input file. So this is my first line. So what is the first word? Hello. $1 value is hello. In this line, $1 value is MM22B901. The third line, in the third record, the first field is a digit only. Again, in the fourth line, the first field is a digit. So for this, first field is hello, only alphabets. So which blocks gets executed? Alpha block and alnum block. Both gets executed for the first line. Whereas for the second line, first field contains both alphabets digits. So all the three pattern block gets executed. Alpha block, alnum block, and digit block also gets executed. Whereas for the third line, first field is a digit. So alnum and digit blocks gets executed. Only two blocks. And even for the fourth field also, fourth record also, only alnum and digit blocks gets executed. See here. First is hello. So alpha and alnum, only these two are the outputs. Okay. So record number is 1. Record number is 1. And your $1 value is hello. And for the second record, see here. Alpha record, alnum record, as well as a digit record. All are record 2. All are having record 2. All the three blocks gets executed because it contains alphabets as well as digits. Whereas for the third, alnum and digit, only these two blocks gets executed. Record number 3. Okay. For record number 4 also, only alnum and digit records get executed. Record number 4. Okay. So and then end block. So the only difference between the previous example is here we are comparing the entire line. Whereas here we are comparing only the first field. Here we are comparing only the first field. Here we are comparing the entire record. Okay, that is the difference. Now
If we want to print the full line also, then
$0 instead of $1, you use $0.
comparison of $0.
Okay, you
Comparison,
want,
here with
yeah,
comparison then
can
with
do it.
$1 and printing $1. Na? This is what it means.
Yeah, you are comparing with the $1. Here, if you want, you can print the entire record $0. Here you can use $0.
Comparison with $1 can be possible.
Yeah, comparison $1, we are comparing only with the $1 value, whereas while displaying, you can display the entire line. No problem. Let us modify. We are comparing only $1. If you want, like we require only $1 value, that's why we have given $1. If you want to give the entire line, you can give $0. Okay. See here, the entire line we have. Record 1, entire line. But it has compared only with $1 value. Record 1, record 1. These are the 4 lines of output. Okay. For the second line, all the 6 lines. Third, only it will compare alphabet and only the $1 value. All number and digit. All number and digit. Okay. Wherever you want to display the entire record, use $0. Wherever you want to have a particular field, that field number. $1, $2, like that, you can display that corresponding field. Now we'll go for the another example.
Ma'am, here IFS is a space.
Input field separator.
Input field separator.
Yeah, next example we'll get it.
But record separator is
Record separator is a /n, line.
Oh, line,
Line.
Changing line is record.
Yeah. Like here, by default, it is displaying line by line, no? Suppose if you change the record separator as colon. So first line, colon, second line, colon, like that you will get. So here, pattern block, how we have written, see here, number of fields greater than 2, like in your current record, if the number of fields is greater than 2, you want to execute this particular block. If the number of blocks is less than or equal to 2, you want to execute this block. Okay. So we have written the condition here using the relational operators and your number of fields, environment variables, built-in variables. Okay. And here you can use a field separator, say semicolon. You can use any field separator. Okay. So dot and hyphen, we have used a dot and hyphen. Even you can add some more separators also if you want. First we will check with the dot and hyphen and then we will modify that field separator values. Okay. So if the number of fields in the current record is greater than 2, it will execute this particular block. If the number of fields is less than or equal to 2, it will execute this block. And also we have specified the field separator value, input field separator value. So here I am taking the example as my processing file is this. So I have taken this example. So the first line, in the first line, how the fields are separated? The field separator is colon. Here the field separator is colon, as well as even you have a hyphen also. More than one field separator is there. But which field separator you specify, it will use that field separator. Okay. And here semicolon. We have used the field separator as a semicolon. Here hyphen, here space, here dot. So like that, we might be using a different field separator in each line I am in my input file. And here, which field separators I specified in the example? My field separators are dot and hyphen only. I have specified only dot and hyphen. So in that case, this line, how many fields are there in that line? Tell me. How many fields are there in that line?
3, ma'am.
Why 3?
Ma'am, here colon is there and also minus is there and another colon is there.
No. But colon is not a field separator here. A dot is a field separator. Hyphen is a field separator. So dot is not there. So it will take this as a field separator. So hello world, this whole thing is the first field. This whole thing will be the second field. Okay. So while processing this particular record, we specified the field separator is either a dot or a hyphen. So here the dot is not there. Okay. So hyphen is there. That means whenever a hyphen comes, there it will split this line, this record. So when it split here, before thing, this whole thing is the first field. This whole thing will be the second field. Okay. So it contains only 2 fields. It will treat like that. Okay. Whereas when it comes to the second line, both dot and hyphen are not there. So this entire thing will be considered as one field only. So this record contains only one field. So whereas the third line, when it is processing the third line, hyphen is the field separator because we specified field separator as a hyphen. So this will have a 3 fields. So when an hyphen comes, it will split. So this is the first field. Again hyphen comes here. So it will split. So this is your second field. And then hyphen comes. So this will be the third field. So this record contains 3 fields. Whereas in this, yes.
This NF greater than 2.
Yeah, whether it is greater, like I am saying, how it will divide the record into fields based on field separator value. So we will see whether this block satisfies or this block satisfies. We will see it. First, I am counting how many fields are there in each line. So in this, there are only 2 fields. In this line, we have only 1 field. In this line, we have 3 fields. In this line, we have only 1 field because space is not a separator. And in this, we have, how many fields we have? Again, 3 fields. Before this dot, this is 1 field. AC is another field. In is another field because dot is a field separator. You can use more than 1
Space is also a separator then? Can we use space or not?
Yes, we can use a space. But here I have not specified. You can specify. Here if you include space, then space will also be considered as a field separator. So, but FS value, if you didn't specify the FS value, then it will take space as the default separator. Okay. If you specify the FS value, whatever value you have specified in this square bracket, inside this square bracket of FS value, that is considered as the field separator. Okay. So the field separators allowed now are only dot and hyphen. So it will divide the record at that field separator value. So according to that, I am saying, what are the number of fields in the first record? 2. Okay, it is 2.
Yes.
So this block gets executed. For the first record, not acceptable record, record number 1, and the entire record it will display. The number of fields in the current record is 2. It will display 2. So this, this one. So it will display 2 here. The number of fields in the current record, first it will display this. It won't satisfy this because number of fields is not greater than 2. Whereas for the second record, how many fields are there? As for our 1. So that will also display this. It will satisfy this pattern only. It won't execute. Okay. Second record also the same pattern, not acceptable record. Whereas the third one, how many fields are there?
3.
3. So NF greater than 2. So this gets executed. This is an acceptable record. Okay. And then for the fourth, how many fields are there? 1. So it is not acceptable record. Whereas for the fifth line, how many records are there? 3. So this is acceptable. So this block gets executed. Okay. Let me execute and show whether it is executing as per our assumption or not. See here, first record, not acceptable. Okay, number of fields is 2. Second record, also not acceptable. Number of fields is 1. Third record is acceptable because number of fields is 3. Fourth is not acceptable, number of records is 1. Fifth is acceptable because number of records is 3. Okay, have you got it? According to the field separator value, it will evaluate. If you didn't specify field separator at all, in that case, it will take the space as the field separator. So in that case, this is one record only, one field only. This is also one field only. This is also one field only. Whereas this has 3 fields. This is also one field only. If you didn't specify FS. Like even you can use more than one field separator also. We will modify and then add another field separators. So let me add all the field separators. Space, I have given space, semicolon, colon, dot, hyphen. I think these are the separators we have. Even at the rate also you have, you can give even at the rate. Okay. So I'm not giving that. So space is a field separator, semicolon is a field separator, colon is a field separator, dot is a field separator, hyphen is a field separator. All these field separators I am using. So in that case, how many fields are there in the first record now? You tell me. How many fields are there?
5.
So colon is a separator. So 1. Hyphen is a separator. 2, 3, 4, and then number of fields will be 5. There are 4 separators. So number of fields will be 5. So this will be 3. This will also be 3. This will also be 3. Whereas here also be 3. Because we didn't added this. So only dot is the taken as a separator. So this whole thing is 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now if you execute, see here, 5 records. In the first record, we have 5 fields. 5 fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. Okay, got it? and even the space, fourth line, fourth record, 3 fields. See, fourth record, 3 fields. Okay, so like that you can add your field separator fs value. Any doubt?
Ma'am, please show what is happening here. $0 means record number, no?
Dollar
Zero and
mean, FNR is the record number. $0 is the entire record.
entire record, entire line.
Entire line.
So record number 1 means first line and it prints entire line.
Yeah, FNR. FNR is the record number. For first line it will be 1. Second line it will be 2. Third line it will be 3, like that. NF is the number of fields. Yeah. So before going to this example, so like that, how you can use your built-in variables, you can try with all. Okay. So like awake script. So we, whatever the scripting that we have written here till now is only the basic script, which contains begin, default and end blocks and default variables. Whereas your scripting language, awake is a scripting language, so it will have all the control statements, it will have a variable assignment, arrays, input output, okay, built-in functions, user defined functions, and your control statements like loops, if and switch statements, loop statements, all those you will have. Okay. Even it can support regular expression and relational expressions and pattern matching expressions. So all these features it will contain. Okay, so these are the different operators supported in awake script. Assignment operator, like all your shorthand notation also you can use. Logical operators, and or, algebraic like arithmetic operators, and then relational operators, less than or. So these are the different operators supported in awake, and these are the operators supported. Conditional operator, how the conditional operator will work, it will check this expression. If it is true, it will return A as the result. If it is false, it will return B as the result, like your conditional statement in your C language. It will work. Or this is A in array means if this value is there in this, like this is a syntax of your Python for I in a list of values. So array is a list of values. So if this element is in this array, then like member, whether if this is a member of this, then it will execute. Okay, to say that. So in operator, we say this as a in operator. In operator will work. If this is a member of this array, then it will do something. Otherwise, it won't do something, like that. Whether A is matching with the regular expression, that we will write it like this. So regular expression match, that condition we will write it like this. If A matches, this operator is called a matching operator. Okay, so not match, here we are saying whether if it matches, A matches with this regular expression. This not means reverse of this. Like suppose if I say in this regular expression I have written ABC. Suppose if my like or XYZ. Suppose I have written in this between the square bracket I have written XYZ. That means if this variable is either X or Y or Z, it matches with this, it will execute this. So negation of this match means reverse of it. Alphabets, there are 26 alphabets are there. other than XYZ, then it will execute this. So the reverse of this, not of tilde, means reverse of your regular expression, negation of your regular expression. Suppose you are specifying the regular expression as a digit. So digit 4 or 5 or 6, say suppose digit 4, 5, 6. Then negation of tilde means 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. It will take those digits. Negation of the regular expression you are saying. This is not. That means if you take this as a true, not means false. So it won't be like that meaning. Okay. So negation, this is a regular expression. A matches the regular expression. This is negate. It matches the negation of the regular expression. Okay. So increment operator, decrement operator.
Regular expression means?
Suppose how we will match.
If I am able to say a regular expression is A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
I am matching this. Then
Yeah,
negation means not of these, na?
Yes, that is what I said. So if my A matches, A is a variable, or A means, say, so for example, $1 I am saying. Okay. If $1 value matches, this is the regular expression I have specified. Okay. So that means the $1 value can be either A or B or C or D, then it will be true. This will be true. Okay. If I say
first field, ma'am.
Huh?
First field matches, na?
Yeah, first field or whatever it may be. This can be a first field or some variable or whatever it may be. Okay. So this A means a variable. If this is a member of this array, so I have taken like this. The variable is $1, and this is the regular expression I am specifying. So if my $1 value matches this, then I want to do something. So that block I will write it here. Okay. Suppose if I write this $1 negation tilde the regular expression, same regular expression I have written, A, B, C, D. Okay. So when this block gets executed, when this will be true is if your $1 value is other than A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H up to Z. If that value is any of that, then this will be true. Other than this. Okay. Negation means if it is any one of this is true. If it is other than any one of this will be true. Okay. And plus means increment operator. Operand will be incremented by 1. Whereas minus means decrement. Operand will be decremented by 1. Okay. So like in your C language, you can use that as a operator after the operand or before the operand. You can say A plus plus or plus plus A, and minus A or A minus minus. So you can use the increment and decrement operators on both sides, either like a prefix or like a postfix. Okay. So dollar anyhow field reference, say $1, $2, like field reference, which field you are referring. Suppose between the two fields, if you leave a space, $1 space $2, you have print $1 space $2. So that space is used as a concatenation. It will concatenate those two fields. Okay. So these are the different operators you can use while writing the code in Avik. Okay, so you can use any of the assignment operators, logical, arithmetic, or relational operators, or even these operators, conditional operator, or membership operator, or regular expression match, not match, or increment decrement, or the
Operations can be done with regex also.
reference.
These operators can be used with regex also.
Yeah, regular expression also you can. Okay, even it supports functions like mathematical functions. To generate random numbers, you can use rand. You want to find out the logarithm value, you can use log. If you want to find the square root of a given number, you can use sqrt, like that. Cosine value, tangent value. So like that, all your mathematic functions, built-in functions. And even it has some string functions to find the length of the string, or to find the substring, to convert the string
S rand
into
क्या है?
lowercase, uppercase.
S rand क्या है? S rand?
Yes, rand. Where is yes, rand? Yeah,
Arithmetic.
like random number generation only. That is also random numbers. Sequential random number generation or something you'll have. You can refer, Google it. Okay, so like these are the different functions that are available. Like the regular ones, I told you, the logarithm value, not only these, hundreds and thousands of functions will be there. Okay, just we whatever that we have mentioned here is some examples. Okay, so on a string you
Sub
can
and str
like
G sub.
yeah, you refer it, ma, even I don't know. G sub, maybe global substitute or something might be. Okay, like I know only indexing means on a string particular position you can find out. Length means length of the string, whether it is matching with the other string or not. I think you can split it using a field separator. Yes, printf is a device, printf, f printf, s printf. You have a different based on device. I think we use a different printfs.
Sequential printer.
Yeah, like two lower, two upper means to convert into upper and lower cases. If you want to find out a substring from the given string, you use it. So like that, these are the some of the functions only. You have even more than this. Okay. And for control flow, we can use break, continue. Like to come out of the loop, we can use break. To bypass the current iteration, we can use continue. And even you have a do while loop, exit statement, for loop, if condition, if else, return. All these controls you can use. And for input, for reading the input, we have we can input and the output. We have so many functions. So till now we are using like a flush means it will clear the input stream. Like suppose in C language or something. So after suppose you are asked to enter a character. Suppose enter a character. So what we will do? We will give the character. Let us X is the character you are entering. So after giving X, you will press enter. So, but how your keyboard will take your input stream will take is X as one character. Enter is also treated as like another character. Okay. So if you put it in a loop and you want to read the two characters you want to read X and Y. say for example. So first we have given X and then press enter Y. So it will read it as X as the first character, enter as the second character. It won't take Y as the second character. It will take enter as the second character, because enter is also one of the key in your keyboard. So to avoid such a spaces or the delimiters, we use in between reading the X and Y, we use F flush. F flush means after reading the X, if there is there anything that is there in your input buffer, you flush it or clear it, saying to your system that whatever the other characters that you have in your input stream, you just flush out them. So that in that case, after reading X, it will flush out. That means enter will be removed, and then it will able to read the Y value next. So first character will be X and the second character will be Y in that case. Okay. So if you use F flush in between, otherwise it will take those enters. Like generally we use that F flush when you are dealing with characters, while reading the characters or a string values.
And these all commands will be used within VI only, or whole
In the
CMD.
awake script. Inside the awake script, you can use all these. Okay. So printf is the same as your C language printf statement. Formatting and all you'll have. Okay. So all these features, like just to say that your awake script will be like one of the programming language. It is one of the programming language which include all the features of a programming language. Any programming language will include all these features: arithmetic functions, string functions, control flow statements, input output statements. So like that, functions, bitwise operators, like other operators. So how the other programming language has the features, like that your awake is also having all these features. Just to say that we have shown some of the example functions here. Okay. Then even
extension and delete one. How this programming functions extension?
Extension, like I think it can even support the other scripting languages into this. It
Like
can,
Python also.
yeah, Python code you can include, or like other shell script, like your bash script, you can use it inside the awake script. You can write awake script by combining with your bash script, or you can do the awake code by including sed script. Like other shell script features also you can extend in this, like that. Okay. So you need not to go through this depth of awake. Okay. Don't worry. Like just to say that it is having all those features, that's why it is displayed. You need not go to that depth. We will see. We will show you some of the examples. Rand function I will use now in one of the examples. Even the while loops I will use, and this printf statement I will use. So like that, in one example I will use it. In one example, I will show each of these features. Then it will support even arrays. Array means a group of values. If you want to store a group of values in a single variable, okay, all those list of values will have a common name. That common name is nothing but the name of the array. Okay. And how we will distinguish those values is by using indexing. Suppose A is an array consists of 10, 20, 30. If you say, so A of 0 is the 10, A of 1 is the 20, A of 3 is the 30. Like that, we use indexing to identify. So those are nothing but associative arrays. Okay. Whereas a sparse storage means even you can suppose if your array contains more zeros, more numbers, suppose we have taken a matrix of size 3 by 3. So in that case, suppose 3 by 3 matrix means 9 values you can store, but almost 7 values are 0, only 2 values are different. In that case, instead of giving a space to store all the 9 values, we can store it like this. So in this particular row and column, you have this value. In this row and column, you have this value. Only 2 values we will specify. The unspecified values will be 0. So that notation we call it as a sparse storage notation. Even that is supported in AVIC. Okay. And indexes need not be integers. Like it, you can use it like a dictionary. Like in the previous classes, we have seen what is mean by an associative array and what is array and all. Okay. So where you can store it like a key value pairs, a dictionary. So in that case, the key value, it need not be an integer indexing. It need not be 0th element or first element, second element. You can take the key value like your roll number. Say suppose you are identifying a student's list. So your roll number can be the key and name of the student can be the value. So where the roll number, it need not be an integer value. It can even a combination of alphabets and digits. Okay. So like that you can, your array index, so array index equal to value. This index, it need not be an integer value. It can be a string also. Even it will support for loops for variable in array. If this is a member of this, so it will take one by one value from this array, and with that value it will execute the loop. Okay. If you want to remove a particular value at a particular position of your array, so you can use delete ARR of, if you specify the index, so the value at that index of this particular array will be deleted. So like that it will have
Need not to be integer means
dot where it
need not.
It need not be an integer. Like how we will write the array, generally how we will write the array in C language. Suppose ARR equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Suppose this is my array. So how will you refer the array elements? ARR of 0, ARR of 1, like that. You can refer it as ARR of 4. ARR of 0 means 10. At 0th index, you have 10. At index 1, you have 20. Index 2, you have 30. Like that, index 4, you have 50. Okay. So these elements are referred using indexing. The name is same. ARR is the name for all the elements, array name. Whereas it will support an array without an integer indexing. Here we have used, this is normal array. Whereas associative array means like a dictionary, hash indexing it will use. So we will store it like this. Say suppose student array. I am writing a student array where each student is like a key value pair. Array is a key value pair. Roll number 10, some XYZ. So roll number 10, the name of the roll number 10 is say XYZ, comma 25. The name of the roll number 25 is ABC. Like that you can write the student records. Here the roll number, so how it will be identified is student of 10 is equal to AB XYZ. So this 10 is the key and this is the value. And this key, it need not be an integer value. Here I have specified 10, 25, all those are the keys. But it need not be an integer. Even you can specify, say suppose branch you want to include CSC 10, IT 25, like that. You can, your roll number may include your branch also. Okay, so the roll number, this can need not be an integer indexing. You can use even the string indexing also. That is what is the meaning of this. Index need not be an integer. It can be a key value pair. The key can be of any data type. Okay, so whereas the loops, how we will it will support the loops is, you can write the first statement like this or this. For A in array means it will take one by one value from this array. With that value, it will execute this loop, body of the loop. Whereas here, the I is the loop variable. It will take the value. It will start at 1 till it reaches to n. It will execute this body. Each time it will be incremented by 1. Okay. So the difference between these two is, suppose if my array elements are this, first it will, a value will be 10, and with a value 10 it will execute the body. Next time a value will be 20, with the 20 it will execute the body. Whereas in this case, the I value is first 1, I value will be 2, 3, etc. It will execute till it reaches to the n value.
And ma'am, one thing, in array, if I say 4, 10 in the list in the notepad, so जो अगर 10 वाला list रहेगा तो कितनी बार चलेगा अगर हम 4
don't know Hindi, speak in English. I don't know Hindi.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. If A is have we wanting ki if A is in the 10 array in 10, then how many time it will be printed? One time.
Yeah, one time it will execute the body. So if your array contains 5 elements, this body gets executed 5 times. If your array contains 10 elements, this body executes 10 times.
Ma'am, if I say A in 10.
A in array. Now, A in 10 you can't say.
10 in array. 10 in array.
Yeah. So, one time only it will execute. Only one time.
Okay, ma'am. Only it will count the number of things
elements
in that.
In the array. So, suppose if your array is like this, then it will execute only once. Okay, how many elements are there in your array? Those many number of times.
Ma'am, my query is similarly have you create, we have created 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Yeah.
So similarly, if only we have an element in, so it basically means in na, because this one is
in means say suppose if you have an array like this, okay, ARR. So I have written a statement like this: for A in ARR. Okay, that means first it will take 10 and then it will execute whatever code you have written here, that get executed. Okay, then it will take A value as 20 and then again it will execute this. Again it will take A value as 30 and then again it gets executed. So once all
if
the
I say 10 in
array are over, then it will come out.
And if I say 4, 10 in array, then
4 10.
4 loop, 4,
yeah,
10
how many?
in array.
Yeah, like you are saying 10, 10, 10, 10 like 4 times. Is it that?
Yes, if I say 10 and 120 also.
Yeah, it will execute 4 times with the same value. It will take the
only
first
10
value.
values are be looped, na?
No. With the value 10 only, but it will be repeated 4 times because there are 4 tens here. How many elements you have in the array? The length is important. Okay, first time it will take the first value.
This is also like working as a search also, na?
Yeah, search, not search. It will be like a for statement only, but this is the syntax of your Python for Python language, whereas this type of syntax is a C language syntax. Your awake will support both this type of syntax for loop as well as this type of syntax for loop. This is the syntax we use in Python for loop, whereas this is the syntax we use in C language for loop. So your awake will support both. Okay, and this is a simple if statement. This is a while loop. Okay, as long as this condition is true, it will do this statements. When it becomes false, it will come out. So this is a do while loop, just an opposite of while loop. When the condition is true, it will repeat this. When the condition will becomes false, it will come out. Okay. Even it will support functions, other programming languages. So to suppose if you are solving some complex problem, so you want to divide your problem into sub problems, and for each sub problem you want to solve each sub problem, we write one function, and we will to get the solution to your original problem, we will combine all the calling of all these functions, we will combine and then find the solution in the main function. So like that you can write a sub functions. Sub functions will also be supported in awake. Okay, you can write a sub function and then call it in the main. Say here I have written my function 1, and in this I am displaying just a $1 value. I have written another function called my function 2. To this I am passing one parameter a, and I am finding a into one random number I am generating, and with I am multiplying the a with the random number and then return that value. So this is my main. This is my main. Here I have called first my function 1. This is calling. So your control will transfer from this place to this, and it will display the $1 value. And then again come back, and it will call function 2 with a value. A value is 1. So it will pass this 1 is here. 1 into the random number that you have generated. So randomly it will generate one value, and that value it will return it here to the B, and then B value gets printed. So this is a combined function, like a main. So from main you are calling the sub functions. Yes?
Please explain once again, ma'am.
Ma?
Could you please explain once again, ma'am, this what happens?
Like here I have written two sub functions. This is one function and this is another function. Okay, this is the name of this function is my function 1. The name of this function is my function 2. So here I have written just I am displaying some value. Okay, $1 value, whatever might be the $1 value, that I am displaying here. So here what I am doing, so I am passing a as a parameter to this function. While calling this, I will get one value. Okay, so that value multiplied by rand is a built-in function to generate a random number. So it will generate one random number. That random number is multiplied by a, and that value will be returned to the calling place. Okay, so this is the main function which will combine these two. So in this, what I am doing. Hello?
Ma'am, this AWK and F, how it is?
This is a awake script. Inside this awake script, I am writing a sub functions. This is mylib is also an awake script. You can write this as a like a awake script or library. We call this as a library. Say here how I have run this library is awake minus f mylib. That means I am running this like mylib also like an awake only, awake command only. So that means mylib is also an awake program, like it contains a function. Okay, so whereas my script.awake is a original, this is like a main function. In this main function I am calling these sub functions. This is the library. Okay, so in the main function I am calling my function 1. If you know any programming language like C, Python or Java or any one of the programming language, you will understand this. Okay. So otherwise it will
F
be
stand for?
if I say my function 1, so this is calling the subfunction. So my control,
Dash F, dash F.
like
Dash F.
Dash F is an option to run your awake script from the command line. Okay, command. This is awake minus F is a command. You are running the awake script with the minus F option. So that is there in all your scripts also. While writing each and every script, we are using that only. G awake.
Yes, ma'am, but I missed the some sessions now because 126 was covered by me.
Yeah.
But not really.
So every command we are running with the minus F option only. So that minus F this is. Okay. So a value I have taken is 1. So always it will start the execution from here. So a value is 1. So when executing the default block, it is called the subfunction. So whenever I say my function 1, my control will go to, from here it will switch to this function definition. And it will come to here and then it will display the $1 value. After completion of this, again it will return back to this place. Okay, and execute the next command. And the next command I have called my function 2 with passing a as the parameter. So because it is having a parameter, so a value is the parameter. A means 1. So it will pass 1 to here. So it will multiply 1 with, it will generate one random number. That random number is multiplied with 1 means you will get the same random number only. That random number value, it will return here. That return value of this function will be stored in B. So then it will display that B value. So that means what it is doing, just it is displaying the some random number generated by this function. Okay. So like that, for achieving, suppose you want to find a NCR or NPR value. NCR value. So what is the formula for calculating the NCR? N factorial by
N factorial upon
R factorial
N minus R
R factorial. So that means factorial value you are while passing N as a parameter, you are calling the calculating the factorial. By passing the R value as a parameter, you are calculating the factorial. By passing N minus R value as a parameter, you are calling the factorial. So 3 times you are calculating the factorial. So what we will do is, we will write only one function called factorial, some x as the parameter. That x value will be replaced by n ones, r ones, n minus r ones. Okay. So that it will calculate. See here, NCR equal to n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. So this is the formula. So that means what we are doing, we are calculating the factorial with n as the parameter once. Okay, say suppose you want to find out 5C3. So we need to calculate 5 factorial once, and then 3 factorial once, and 2 factorial once. Okay, so now I will write one function fact with x as the parameter. So I have written the code which will return the factorial value. Whatever it may be the code, I am not writing. Return x factorial value, it will return. Okay. So first time when we using this, I want to calculate NCR now, 5CR. So what I'll do, I will call here fact function with 5 as the parameter first. So what happened? This x will be replaced by 5. It will find the 5 factorial and return the 5 factorial value. So that will be replaced by here. Then again I will call fact function with 3 as the parameter. Okay, so again it will come to this function. X value will be replaced by 3. It will calculate the 3 factorial and return the 3 factorial value to this place. Okay, into, and then again I will call the fact function by with 2 as the parameter. So this X value will be, so that means I will write this definition only once, but I am using this as many number of times as I want. Wherever I want, I am calling the same. So that is called the reusability of the code. You will get the, using functions, you can achieve the reusability of the code. So that is supported in ABIC. Okay, even you can write printf. By using printf, you can use formatting of your input and output. Okay, this format, suppose you want to display your data, a value, suppose a value is 10, a value is 10. So it will display, if you say print a, it will display 10 only. How many digits it has, it will be displayed only with that digits. Suppose I want to like if you are displaying your student data like this, serial number, roll number, student name, you are displaying student name and CGPA of the student. So for each student you want to display in this format. So we'll write student serial number 1, student roll number 10, some student name XYZ, and then CGPA value some 8.9. So like that you are entering n students data, suppose. So we can't exactly know what will be the length of what will be the length of your student name exactly. Okay, some students might be having a short name, some students might be having a long name. So in that case, you will get the data like a some in zigzag manner. Suppose XYZ, you got this value. Some student is having the name something like more characters. So then his CGPA will be displayed here. Okay, so some zigzag manner it will display the output. I don't want that. I want to fix the length of this field. Okay, you can specify here something in this format. You can specify the width of each field with which you want to display, and suppose you want to display sometimes the numbers in different number system. Generally we use a integer number system, integer and like a decimal number system by default, but computer can know other number systems also, octal, hexadecimal number systems. So sometimes we want to convert our number system to a different number system. So in that case, we can use this modifier, formatting modifier. If you use O, it will display the value in octal system. If you use X, it will display the value in hexadecimal system. So like that, you can use this formatting, okay, to format your output in a required manner. So that facility is also there in ABIC. Okay.
This break.
This precision. This is precision. After how many values you want to display after decimal place. Suppose you are displaying a floating point value. So you can say my floating value I am calculated is say 10 by 3. Suppose I am calculating 10 by 3. So how much it will be? Like it will be 3.333333, like that you will get infinite up to. But with how much precision you want to display that value. Suppose if my precision is 2, that means it will display like this 3.33. After decimal point, it will give you only 2 digits. Precision. This is precision.
How will we add in percent?
How do? This is a syntax. Percentage symbol is there no, in the keyboard. You can use that.
And dash.
These are to be written like this: percentage C, percentage D, percentage I, percentage symbol followed by your character. So you can write it like if you know the C language, you will understand that. Okay. So how will you write? Printf percentage 5D some x, where x is an integer. So x value you want to display using 5 spaces, width 5, and all are decimal numbers, decimal integer. Okay, 5 spaces. This value is an integer, decimal integer. You want to display using a width 5. So that the formatting you need to use this. Suppose if x is a float value, so you have to write it like this. Okay, so in that case we can even specify the precision. Say percentage 5.2f. That means after decimal point you display 2 digits. The overall you will have a 5. You need to display it with the 5 spaces, 5 digits. Maximum space you can allocate is a 5 digits. And then after decimal point you need to display only up to 2 decimal places, and this is a float value.
And dash.
Ma?
Dash.
Like suppose if x value is 3.4, suppose x value is 3.4, but here we are specifying 5, the width is 5, but here we have only 1 digit before the decimal point. So in that case the remaining spaces will be displayed with the hyphen. Space. So either default space, if you specify hyphen, it will be displayed like this: hyphen 3.40. Okay, 5 width 5. So but we have only 1 digit here, not 5 digits. So the remaining digits it will replace by hyphen. Okay, on that case we will write it like this: hyphen. Okay, so like that you can use C. All these are in the C language syntax only. Okay, so even you can combine your awake script with other scripting like shell script or a bash script, and you can use even here doc feature that is available in your shell script, or even you can use a piping while giving the input. Still now we are giving the file name. Like while executing awake script, we are giving the file name. So instead of giving the file name, you can use some output of some cat file name, pipeline symbol, and then write awake. That means the whatever the output you are getting from the previous command will be given as input to the your awake script, like that. Okay, so we'll see one example for all the concepts that we have discussed. A few examples we will see quickly.
Bennies are OPP.
Yeah, refer to your dashboard. Calendar is there, no? You can refer to that. I think next week only.
Next week.
Yeah, you refer to the course, ma. Your course contains all the dates. Graded document. Your graded document contains all the dates. I think it is next week only. Okay. See here, in this what we are doing is this script. See, I'm taking this particular document. So in this document, I have a text and some roll numbers of the students, followed by the fee paid by the student. So it is having a document which combines with some unnecessary text as well as some useful information. Okay, so this document contains the fees paid by a particular student. So this is the roll number of IIT Madras students, BTech students format. So this student has paid 21,000, and this student has paid 21,000. This student has paid this much. So like that, student roll number followed by some fee and some unnecessary data also we have. So you want to process this file and you want to extract only the student number and how much fee they have paid. So let me run and then explain this. Example 6 dot awk. See here. So it has summarized this. So report of fee paid. So this particular student paid 2100. So this student paid this. Okay. So like cutoff fee is 21,500 is the cutoff fee, minimum fee that should be paid by the student. So those who have not paid the minimum fees, I want to identify those students and then list out them, ask them to check. So these two students have not paid the cutoff fee, whereas these three students have paid more than or equal to the cutoff fee. So I want to identify those students who have not paid less than the cutoff fee. So that list I have listed out. So I presented. So the total fee collected is the sum of all these I have displayed. And average fee collected is sum of the fee divided by the number of students. So it will calculate the average fee. So this information, which is in unformatted manner present in this document, we are processing that document and then presented the data inside that in a required format, some required format by the customers. Okay. So how to process this example is nothing but your awake dot example 6 dot awake saying. Okay. So you can use awake to process the unformatted data and convert that into the required format. To say that, we use this example. Okay. And even awake has so many features. One of the feature is it can able to process the records of crores of records within a very less time. Like in your Excel sheet also, you can process the data. Okay. So, but how many records it can able to process? Maximum of 65, 1 million, less than 1 million records it will process. If you have more than 1 million records, it can't able to process. And for processing also, it will take more and more time. Okay. Whereas your awake script can process the millions of records within few seconds. Okay. To show that, we will give you one more example. This is a function example which I have already discussed. Yeah. Say consider this awake script. So here I am taking number of lines to number of columns, 2 lines. In each line I have 2 columns. So just I am using a random function to generate the random float value. And then so this is for number of lines. In each line I have again 2 columns, number of columns. So this will generate a 2 rows with 2 columns, some random numbers. Okay, suppose if I execute this, so this doesn't contain any input file. You can create one empty file and then pass that as an input to this, or you can even give echo some space, nothing, null value, and pipeline symbol, and then execute this, so that nothing, no input is there, just it will execute whatever that is there in the begin and end blocks. So this is one line, this is the second line. In each line it has generated 2 columns. This is the first column and this is the second column. Okay, suppose if I modify this script and then wait, if I modify this script and instead of this 2, if I gave 2 million records, okay, sorry, 2 million records, I am going to 2 million lines, each line contains 2 columns. Okay, so I modify like this. Now let me run this. Okay, how I am running this is echo pipeline and I want to redirect this output to a different file. Okay, suppose example 8 data .txt. So I am not displaying on the screen. Okay, just I am redirecting this output to this particular file. Okay, and I want to calculate what is the time that it takes to do this task, because it is generating millions of records, not a single 1 or 2 records. It is generating millions of records. Okay, so see here how much time it has taken. Only 3 seconds, exactly 2.991, that means nearly 3 seconds. So within 3 seconds it was able to generate millions of records. That is there here, you can check out the file which we have, example 8 data. Almost it is having 38 MB. Okay, 38 MB you have. This much of data, 2 millions of records data, it is generated only within 3 milliseconds. So that is the processing capability of Awake. Okay, even suppose now I want to say process this data. So what I am doing is I want to, like, I have a 2 columns, no, first column multiplied by the second column, I want to calculate that, and the first column plus second column, sum and product of those 2 columns I want to find out and display all of them. Okay, so output field separator is a space and field separator is also space. That means while displaying these values also use the space, first value, second value, product of it, and then sum of it. Even while taking the input also they are separated by space. Okay, so to process this, so that means how much data it will able to generate. Echo, same command I am using. Okay, so run this. run example9.awake on this data, example8.data.txt. On this file, you take it as an input. Okay, and the output you redirect it to some other file. Example8 processed data, p data. I am giving p data.txt. Okay, so I am processing the data which is there in this text file. So in this text file, I have data with two fields, two random values. So that processed data, you can even check it whether we have or not. You can use a head command. If you display all records, it will take so much of time. Okay, so that's why I'm using only head, so that it will display only first 10 records. Example8 data.txt. So these are the first 10 records, or you can use even last tail, head, tail command to display the last 10 records. Okay, so this is the last 10 records. So it has two columns. Each row has two columns. Now what I want to do is, I want to process this data. I want to multiply and add these two columns. I want to add two more columns here. Third column is the product of these two values. Fourth column is the sum of these two columns. Okay, so that code I have written in example9.awake, and that data I am storing in. So this should process this data. This awake script should process the data in example8.data file, and after processing the data, I want to store it in example8 pdata.txt. In this file, I want to store, and I want to calculate how much time it will take to do this processing. See here, maximum it has taken 5.5 minutes, 5.5 seconds, 5.5 seconds almost. So now if you check, see, example p data, almost it is having 69 MB. 69 MB. So this much of data, it is able to process within 5 seconds. Okay, so even you can see the records, head of exe8p data.txt. See here, these are the two random values that were generated. This is the product of those two, and this is the sum of those two. So like that, you have a 2 millions of records like that. Okay, so even you can see your wc minus l and your file name. It will show 2 millions of records. Okay, so this much of data, it is able to process within these seconds. That is the capability of awake. Okay, so you can because of that powerful features it is having. So awake is used as a processing the documents. Most of the places we prefer awake for processing the data instead of your Excel sheets or any other processing softwares. Okay,
ma'am.
Yeah.
Here in the comment time, please show the comment. Please show the.
Yeah.
Here in the above comment, where time is written. Please show that. Yes, yes. Time dot. Yes, yes. So here the output is redirected to ex8 the data.txt. Okay.
Yeah.
So why it is displayed on the screen, output screen, ma'am?
If I display the data on the output screen, it will be scroll for another 10 minutes. That's why I like
Anna, it is
yeah, you can
redirected by
display
how
it.
to display
Yeah,
the screen.
but yeah, you can instead of redirecting, you can display it on the screen, no problem at all. See, but it will be scroll you can't see. It will come like this. Okay, because millions of records you are giving, no? So to display those millions of record, it will take time, and so instead of that, I am storing it in a file, and I will access only the required records, not all the records. Okay, see, almost 23 seconds it has taken to display the whole thing on the screen. Okay, you can, no problem. So instead of I have stored it in a file, whereas it has displayed on the screen. That's all the difference. Any other doubt? So that is the briefing about awake. Okay, so awake is a very very big topic. We can't discuss that in the uh, a single class. Okay, just this is only overview what features the awake contains. Okay, so can I end the session?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Good night, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Ma'am, for the OPP perspective,